Good evening, gents, fathers, dads, buds, and lads. Welcome to the house. My makeshift room here. Nothing special. 4 walls, some lights, and of course, you beautiful people in front of me. Drop in the comments tonight where you're from, where you're watching from. What are you up to tonight? This is Fatherhood Confessions. This is Trent coming at you strong. We're glad to be back for another episode of Feature Friday. But before we go any further, I just want to let you know, it is baseball season. The preseason is up and running, and soon we're going to have the first pitch, the brand new 21 season. I don't know about you guys, but I'm stoked. Having said that, tonight I'm donning my Cincinnati Reds hat, simply with my good Canadian buddy Joey Votto in mind. That's right, Joey Votto, good Canadian buddy. And he's the pride and joy of our baseball nation, one of few. Anyway, so glad you're here tonight, guys. And before we get going, we're going to do what we usually do. We're going to grab, if you got a drink or something, don't have to be anything special, but grab that drink and celebrate that it's Friday. You kick back and relax and hear that sound of that beautiful can hissing. Hey, if you listen even more closely, you might be speaking your name. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Anyway, well, tonight, before we get started, man, what an eventful day. Like, it has been an eventful day. First, of course, it started off with some computer issues. And tonight I'm only running from one PC and one monitor. So it's going to be different because I've got a lot of things going on here. But anyways, I got a new laptop today and I scurried. That's why I'm late. Usually I'm on at 9 o'clock. But I just had to go through a lot of troubleshooting and get this thing up and running. Man, if you ever had computer issues go wrong, go awry at the last minute, man, give me a thumbs up because it's brutal. I hate when that happens. But c'est la vie, that's life. So tonight we're going to talk about narcissistic dads and insecure dads, and how do kids respond to that? How do kids respond to narcissistic, self-focused, self-indulged, insecure fathers that seem to externally handle what's in front of them simply due to narcissism, thinking too much and too highly of oneself over another, and because of that, and maybe failures or lack of confidence, there's insecurity there. You've got to dig through the fibers of who they are, you'll find that something's causing the insecurity. Well, tonight we're going to talk about that. Insecurity, narcissism is a very muddy issue if you find yourself in it. It can absolutely destroy you and destroy the people around you. You could either make wrong friends or make your friends enemies. Keep that in mind. So let's have a sip. Cheers to you guys. It's a good Friday. Anyway, anybody want to guess where my wife and I went on a date tonight? Well, you know, in COVID, there's only so many places you can go, right? But we decided to go on a date. And I'm going to reveal where we went. For a special night out together, we decided to go, dun dun dun, to Walmart grocery shopping. That's right, Walmart grocery shopping. Wow. And so, yes, you just got to take every second you can with your significant other, right? Give your dad conscience and your dad brain a break, and it doesn't have to be elaborate, right? You just enjoy yourself grocery shopping, walking down the produce aisle, knowing that there's no little ankle biters hanging off you or calling you into demand or requiring anything of you. Anyway, let's get at it. So guys, again, just to remind you, Feature Friday, what I do is I take an article or I take a video, I take a book, a quote, a story of some father's life, or it could be anything on the subject of fatherhood, or dads and bad dads, good dads, the good, bad, and the ugly, and I try to dissect it and make sense for fathers today. Excuse me. So with that, have you ever come across or heard of a guy by the name of Oh, yeah, of course. Now it decides to freeze up on me. My video's not showing up. Just fantastic. Just fantastic. Not cool at all. Wow, I can't get it to come up. It was just up a minute ago. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, I can't get it to come up. Anyways, I'm going to have to talk to you right from without a video reference. But have you ever heard of a dad who made his son run to school in the rain as a punishment? Made his son run to school as a punishment for something he did at school. I think it was bullying. But it's a Virginia father who forced his 10-year-old son to run to school, I think it was 2 miles in the rain, for punishment for bullying. Can you believe that?
Runs the household like a dictatorship.
I'm just trying to find... That's too bad. I don't know why my window capture... Let's try something here. Hang with me for a second. Hang with me here for a second. I'm going to do something. We'll get things back on track here in just a second. Here we go. Perfect. Here we go. Let's move that here. Sorry, guys. A little switcheroo. We got to adjust this. Okay. So here's what I'm talking about. So a father receives a report from the school, the principal, that his son is bullying other kids at school, mistreating them. Anyway, so he decides to take the issue into his own hands and deal with it. So what he does, he makes his son run 2 miles to school. And you can read it right here. Follow along with me if you want. Father arrives at school, at old school punishment of making his son run the mile to school instead. Father, presumably in the interest of safety, decides to trail his father or his son in his car as the boy runs in the rain. And what he does is simultaneously while he's doing this, he's got a cell phone out, and that's the video you see there on the screen. He has a cell phone out, and he's recording this whole thing and narrating the video live on Facebook. And so the video goes absolutely viral. Like it just raids the internet. And I want to show you a little clip of it, if I can. Hopefully the sound comes through. Oh.
So you've got your own business, and you're doing everything you can to promote it.
Sorry, guys.
Marketing doesn't always have to be so...
Here it is.
All right, everybody. Welcome to You Better Listen to Your Dad 2018. Any of y'all that know me know I've got two wonderful children, Hayden, my son at 10, and my daughter, Temperance at 8. Well, my son has finally got in trouble on the bus enough to where he got actually kicked off the bus for 3 days because he was being a little bully, which I do not tolerate, cannot stand, and therefore he has to now run to school. We're right about 1 mile from the school, so all week he has got the experience of running to school. The good news is, hey guys, he keeps up a pretty good mile pace at 6 miles an hour so far. Yesterday he was apparently a little rude for Michelle in the morning, so even though it's raining this morning, he still gets to run. This right here is just simple. Ironically, since he's been running to school this week, his behavior's been much better. His teachers have approved of his behavior this week. He hasn't gotten in trouble at school this week, where last week he was just absolutely out of his mind. But this right here is just old school simple parenting. This ain't killing nobody. This is a healthy way for a child to be punished because it's, exercise, something that a lot of people don't think children should do anymore, so you just stick them behind an Xbox for the rest of their lives. So this right here...
Interesting what he said there. This is just simple old school parenting. Ain't going to hurt anybody. But here's my critical analysis on this video. Am I saying that we don't discipline our kids and in some way and somehow go through some method or some form of discipline to help them understand what they've done as hurt somebody else? I personally don't agree with this. And here's why. So this guy decides to record his son running to school in the rain while he's in the car recording this video. And I thought to myself, dude, dad, or dad, dude, have you thought about this video that's gone viral, that it's out on the interwebs for everybody to get their hands on? As he grows older and this video is circulated online, do you not think that at some time as he grows older, this may very well be a source of bullying to him, used against him? How do you think this is going to make him feel a little later on down in life when this keeps coming up? This keeps becoming an embarrassing moment in his life. What if other kids use this video to his demise? I don't think. I think there's a way to discipline children, but not to the extent where there's embarrassment and possible public ridicule that he would have to endure later because of our inability to forecast or foresee how our decisions may affect him in the future. So, no, I don't think this is right, but let's continue.
Here's called parenting, guys. If you don't know what it's like, here you go. Teach your child a lesson. You don't have to kill them. You don't always have to beat them, but sometimes it sucks for them, and that's what teaches them. So he's going to be a very fast runner later on because I've always joked he'll either be fast or obedient. So far, we're working on fast. But yeah, so we've got a little ways to go. Just wanted to show everybody, give you a good little laugh. But
to show everybody and to give you a little bit of a laugh. See, I don't think this is a laughing matter. I really don't. I think there's some issues, personally. Like if I'm going to handle my son and my daughter in an area of discipline to teach them right from wrong, number one, I'm going to sit down and have a candid conversation. I'm going to work through it through other mentors, through other aides, through other references. But I'm certainly not going to take it to Facebook Live so people out there, think about it, other parents who may laugh and scoff, other people, other kids his age who might get their hands on this video and, again, use it against them. I don't think it's a laughing matter. I don't think it's something to smile and have fun about at this boy's expense, whether it's now or later on. And this is 2018, so, I mean, he's 12 then, so he's 14 now. How is it impacting him now? I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong.
But yeah, Thornhill household does not tolerate it. If you don't do what you're supposed to, you'll get punished. And, I get creative with stuff. I've done all kinds of different things, but we're going to make sure that one way or another, his teachers are able to enjoy his company at school. He's not disrupting his classmates and everything else. So if you say we need gun control, people, here you go. This is what we need. Parenting. Very simple thing. Proud gun supporter, love guns and everything else, but I love my children more than anything in this world. So I'm going to take initiative to raise them. I can't lock them in my safe like I can guns. I can control guns easily forever. This I've got to make sure I control now, because when I'm not around, he has free will. So, if you want to figure out what to do, having issues, get creative, be a parent, teach them how to be responsible for their own lessons and accountable for everything they've done.
I don't think it's easy as, okay, I'm not sure what to do right now. I'm not sure how to apply a certain mode of discipline, so I'm going to get creative. I don't think it's our job as parents to get creative. I think our job as parents, as dads specifically, to engage the conversation, to ask thought-provoking questions, case scenarios. Now, I'm not saying that I have it all figured out, but I think this is the last rule or method that I would use to want to teach my kid a lesson. Now, some of you guys might agree with this. I don't know. If you do, write in the comments below. Let me know what you think. What do you think? Do you think this father is I don't know, harsh? Do you think he's overstepping his bounds? Do you think he's creating something in his son that very well may come back and bite him in the behind? It's interesting because this father was on Dr. Phil not too long ago, and Dr. Phil actually looked at him and said that he was insecure. He even said it was almost a form of bullying in itself. But something to consider, just something to consider. Let's go over here and look at a few traits of what. So this website is medium.com, and 5 traits of toxic parents. I read that this week, and it's quite startling when you think about it. And let me see here. Traits of toxic parents that I have realized after having to deal with my own toxic parents. I don't know. Are you a recipient of a toxic parent? I know. Maybe you're out there wondering tonight, could I be one? Well, these things may very well help you. And that's what we're all about on this channel, is to help dads navigate parenting through honest and candid conversation. That's why this channel exists. I want to be here for you. I want you to connect with me. I want us to, walk through this path. Reach out to me. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course on YouTube. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that button if this is some material that you enjoy watching and listening to. Number 1, they are excessively critical. The writer of the article says, I'm not talking about pointing out what you've done wrong so you can improve it and get better. So it's not about identifying, vocalizing what is the violation. But he says, I'm talking about having the need to constantly find flaws, imperfections, and weaknesses in everything you do. Some parents believe that by doing this, they're actually helping their children to avoid making mistakes in the future. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the case, and this attitude comes with many consequences. A little fact. Research shows that children with overly critical parents tend to develop anxiety that lasts a lifetime. This is what I'm saying about this father who makes his son run to school in the rain to teach him a lesson. Will this come back to bite him? Will this possibly create an anxiety, an anxious approach to life and living. He goes on to say, and they will have a harder time adapting to adversity later in life. As a child of an extremely authoritarian father, I can't stress enough how true that is. So this guy is talking from experience. I'm 24 years old now, and I have such a hard time dealing with failure and adversity. Even the smallest mistakes have the power of triggering my anxiety. Parents can either criticize and punish or teach their children to deal with them in a calm, rational way. And this is my approach, calm and rational. Think it through, discuss it, ask questions, analyze it. Put your finger on the pulse of the situation, but mainly believe in them by affirming and loving and caring and encouraging them. Number 2, this is 5. They don't respect your space or boundaries. Boundaries are a normal and healthy part of any relationship, but a toxic parent will often try to cross these boundaries because I am the parent, therefore I know best. And that is not always true. We could be parents, we could be fathers with a lot of knowledge, but completely miss the mark because we don't know wisdom. They will invade your personal space. They want to know everything about your personal life. They will open your mail or come over uninvited. I did this to my son there not too long ago. I was poking and prodding for information, so I was just burdening him with questions that he just didn't want to answer, and quite frankly, he didn't need to. And just because I'm trying to find an answer instead of being direct, but he did shoot straight with me and said, "Hey, listen, I've got nothing to hide. There's no reason to ask these questions." And so you learn on the fly, right? Number 3, they do not allow you to express negative emotions. This was the first sign I noticed that got me questioning everything. I don't know. What is your case? Do you know people, without stating names or whatever? Do you know of an helicopter parent, one who's narcissistic, one who is insecure? Insecurity can lead to so many damaging issues in a child's life. When you're not confident in who you are, and that's what I tell dads, I say, listen, don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to be the hero. Don't try to teach your kids a lesson just because you want them to know you're in charge. That's not the way it works. We're exuding an energy. We're exuding, creating an environment where our kids won't see us as dads, but will see us more along the lines of a boss or a parent who instills fear. Let's go on to the next one. Number 4, they use guilt and blame to control you. That was a part of my story growing up. My father would also would sometimes guilt and blame, put guilt and blame on me where I wasn't responsible for it, but it was just to control. Toxic parents don't take any responsibility for their own behavior. They blame it all on you, and you end up being the one apologizing when things go wrong. Isn't that the truth? Was making a lot of noise. My mom calmly complained. He immediately started yelling at her, saying he was tired of doing everything her way. Again, toxic, unreasonable, embellishing. And number 5, they're controlling. They can exert control in obvious ways or in more subtle ways, but they always want to tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Some of the negative consequences of having controlling parents are children get exhausted for no real reason. It's true. Their creativity is damaged or discouraged. The likelihood of developing anxiety is higher. Mental health problems may increase. Anyway, there's just 5 points of of traits of toxic parents. Let's move on to this clip. Before I do, let me give you a little bit of a precursor. Here's a video. This is a parent accused. He's a narcissistic and abusive father, and he's about to be confronted by Dr. Phil, and his family is desperately trying to get him to understand his behavior. Watch this.
I expect discipline and respect.
A father who thinks he knows best.
He says, I only strike them to get their attention, then that's okay.
It's ridiculous.
You said you manage people in your family by intimidation.
Never started that way.
Why are you so insecure?
I take my ownership. There's a whole whack of ownership there.
You're pathetic. A terrible father and a worse husband.
Next, Dr. Phil.
If you witness an opioid overdose, don't turn.
So, here is Dr. Phil. It's on the Dr. Phil show. So, let's play this clip again.
Yep.
You're either here to play the cover your ass game, or you're here to seriously help this situation, and your son is at risk here. And I'm interested in what your agenda is.
So have you read the letters and stuff that I sent in?
I've read every word.
There's items I didn't know I was coming on a Dr. Phil show someday, and there's letters and stuff that I sent you that talked about me reflecting and introspecting on the mistakes I've made. Yes, correct.
Yeah, read it all. Leads me to ask one overwhelming question that kind of overarches the whole thing. Why are you so insecure?
I'm not insecure. In fact, let me qualify that too. Up until 5 years ago, there was an amount.
So, you'll know Dr. Phil says, why are you so insecure? And that is definitely the issue. And he reveals it right here. He's about to reveal to Dr. Phil that he was right, and he gives the reason why. Just watch this.
I couldn't climb. There wasn't a challenge I wouldn't accept. I was very successful in my business. That event happened, and it shattered me. It broke me.
So you are insecure?
With my family, absolutely.
Now, notice. So you are insecure with my family. If you are insecure with your family, this is what it leads to. Supposedly, this father was so narcissistic and so insecure that it led his son to experiment with drugs. It was even a traumatic response from his daughter as well. But you can tell the father is just completely beside. He doesn't know what to do. And this is the thing about narcissism and insecurity. You begin to grab for straws. You just don't know what to do. Right? You don't know how to behave. You don't know how to think properly. You don't know how to talk properly. You don't know how to reason properly. You don't know how to solve problems as a team together. You don't know how to show empathy or sympathy. And it comes out in a very brass, negative manner. And it's something that, of course, needs to be fixed. Look at this.
You, by your own description, manage people in your family by intimidation.
Never starts that way. Has never started that way.
Well, that's what you said.
No,
You said, and I'm sure you have a qualification and a couple of paragraphs about that, but you said, I manage by intimidation so I don't have to get physical.
At the end. So every incident that's ever happened, I go at it.
You'll notice in the description, he blames his wife's permissive parenting for their teen son's drug addiction. Another thing about narcissism, too, is that you never think you're wrong and everybody else is. And so when you feel the weight of responsibility for something and you don't want to take, you will quickly defer it. You will quickly deflect it to somebody else because you don't want any more blame. You don't want any more failure. And so you do whatever you can to try to deflect it to somebody else.
This tone of voice. I sit down with the kids, I start talking to them, and every single time I scream out, honey, come here, I need you, come here. She has insecurities.
So you're a victim of your children.
I didn't say victim. She has insecurities from her life where she was molested, that she is irrationally fear of conflict.
My questions for both of you are very thematic. For you, it's why you've neglected the children and failed to protect them. And for you, it's why you've allowed your insecurity to drive you to abuse these children.
It's not abuse. It's never been abuse.
Well, let me tell you something. I've been doing this for 45 years, and I am trained in forensic psychology. I have often worked as an officer of the court evaluating parental conduct.
Okay, so let me ask you some
It's
questions.
abuse.
Okay, is my wife breaking wooden spoons over my son's ass abuse? He said you've done that a dozen times.
A dozen?
Okay.
If that's happening, it would be abuse. Absolutely.
Is my wife taking drug money from my son to pay for a credit card that she secretly got, and that her daughter, my stepdaughter, racked up to $9,000? She's whining and complaining about it. He pulls out a wad, $8,000, hands her some money, and she accepts it. It happened this spring. Your son told me that.
No, that never happened.
Yeah. How about not telling me about the gold being stolen?
But you don't raise your voice.
How about
do you?
no? This is not raising my voice.
Okay. My attorney told me to take it because you lock the safe on me all the time. Whenever
I never
tried
locked.
to,
You had the.
You actually have.
You have the combination.
It started with your affair, and
You
you
have
locked
the
the safe
combination.
when you had an affair.
You have the combination.
Because I was just going to run off with your money.
So should we talk about your 2-year affair? Should we talk about your 2-year affair?
Before we had children?
Doesn't matter. You excuse.
It does actually matter.
You excuse it because we didn't have
It was
children.
long.
See, nobody wants to take responsibility for broken down communication, failed attempts at parenting, or take responsible for their own issues. Everybody is, and this is the thing about narcissism and insecurity, is that it becomes a shouty match back and forth in hopes that somebody will finally lay their sword down and say, okay, you won. And then you go on and gloat about your victory. And so, again, we see just how terrible narcissistic, insecure parents, specifically in this case tonight, dads, and I think there's a better approach. There's a better approach. Number one, humility is everything. Knowing you don't have it all figured out. Understanding that it's okay to say that I messed up. I was wrong. It's not my way or the highway. You could have an alternative. You could have an option that I'm going to give way to allow you to teach me and to help me and show me the way we should go in this family. It's a joint effort. And of course, narcissism, insecurity, number one, will end up creating anxiety for children, will create a disconnect. And so we need to be cautious, right, fathers? We need to be cautious, dads, and be very intentional about our surroundings and very in tune with our kids, so we're not doing these brass, extreme forms of discipline to justify or to get things under control. We had a family meeting last Sunday. And in that family meeting, we sat down and we said, opening statement to our kids, this family meeting is about us talking about our family and coming up with ways that we can be a better family and serve each other better by making decisions together. And I think that's so important. Nobody is going to be embarrassed. No extreme measures of discipline are going to be carried out. It's just simple listening and communicating and talking and considering one over the other. And I think, again, I don't have all the answers, but I think when you start considering others over yourself, others better than yourself, narcissism and insecurity will find a back seat. You'll tell that little boy in you to sit down and the man to stand up. And that's what will happen. And so that's what we're here to create and in Fatherhood Confessions. And I hope that this has been a good episode for you. I apologize. This is usually not the way things go. It was a little disorganized tonight, but my story, I'll come back stronger next week. But yeah, remember, narcissism and insecurity. It's not a place for the father to live in and to live from. So with that, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight for the last 30 minutes. And may you have a fantastic week. And remember, though you are not perfect, dads, you are perfectly needed. And you always will be. Remember, we're here to help dads navigate parenting through honest conversation. And this is why we are doing what we're doing. So, I disappeared. So, have a good weekend, and we will see you next week here on Fatherhood Confessions. And don't forget again to like, subscribe, ring that bell, so you're informed of all new content that will be released and when I go live. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll see you later.